everyone, Aaron here for Zolotech, and iOS 12.1.2 and iOS 12.1.3 Beta 2 came out this week, and then a second version of iOS 12.1.2 came out. And for those of you that aren't aware, that second version kind of does the same thing the first one did. It fixes a patent dispute where Apple had some issues with the way you close apps in China. Instead of doing this and swiping them off, they'd kind of fade out. And that was a patent dispute with Qualcomm. And so they pushed 12.1.2 to fix that. Now they pushed a second version because the same patent dispute was won in Germany. So they pushed that out for them as well. And that's what that was all about. So instead, they took the features from 12.1.2, pushed them to 12.1.3, and then called it Beta 2. So it's been a really crazy week for updates, and both of these versions are okay for some people and not so great for others. So I did look over all your comments in the YouTube community poll. We'll talk about more in a moment. But for me, battery has been okay. And for some of you, it's been great. So for some of you, it hasn't been great. So let's take a look at battery, and we'll go to settings. Let's go down to battery here. And the good thing for me is settings is not freezing up anymore. I haven't had that issue. At least I haven't had it freeze anywhere so far. And you'll see over the last 10 days or so, here's where the updates took place. So they've been doing pretty good there. No issues whatsoever for me. And in fact, I've been going to bed at night with 40 or 50% battery life and 4 hours of screen on time and about a half hour on that day. You'll see it's actually been pretty good for me. So about 5 to 6 hours of screen on time on my XS Max. So no issues for me anyway as far as battery. Now, a lot of you said that battery was great, and then a lot of you said it was terrible. So it seems to be really hit or miss with this one. Another thing people are concerned about is battery health. And battery health is at 100% for me, but updates do not degrade your battery health. What I believe is happening is when you update to a different version, it's just checking the battery health again. And then it kind of reevaluates based on what the battery should be, what it is now, and then gives you a number. They really need to change this to good or bad instead of giving you a percentage, because that kind of freaks people out when you're losing your battery. And it's nothing to really be concerned about at this point. Unless it's really low, I would just ignore it. Quite honestly, that's normally what I tell people to do. Now, the number one problem people are experiencing, especially with the beta, is Wi-Fi disconnects. In fact, I experienced this today. I was watching a YouTube video, and it seemed like if I had my phone this way, the Wi-Fi would disconnect. If I had it this way, it wouldn't. It's almost like I'm holding it wrong. It's kind of strange, and I'm not sure why I was having that issue. I could fix it by turning it off, turning it back on. It reconnected, and it was fine. But there are many, many of you having this issue, so I know it's not just me. It's a widespread problem, it seems, because quite a few of you commented on it. Also, some people were saying apps were not working on mobile data. Maybe YouTube would work and maybe Amazon or something like that, and then other apps just wouldn't work on mobile data. Maybe you'd go into them and they just wouldn't do anything. So maybe they're frozen, I'm not sure. Also, some people were saying they were having issues with the app switcher. I've had no issues whatsoever with the app switcher. It seems to be fine. Apps close fine. It's fast. No issues for me, but I know a lot of people were having that issue as well. Now, that's really it for this beta. It's been stable. I've had no crashes. I've had no freezes. I've had no issues with the cameras, anything like that. Everything seems to be working pretty solidly. And that's a good thing. And then also, I do think we'll probably see the final release. I don't know if we're going to see it next week, since this is Christmas in the United States and around the world. And most of the time, we won't see anything here. And then we have the New Year's and New Year's Eve and that sort of thing. So maybe the final will come out this week. I don't know. And then we'll see 12.2 with some new features, hopefully. And then iOS 13 or a complete redesign in June, hopefully. But aside from all that, you had a lot to say about this particular update or these updates. And you can see here, let me refresh, 4.6K votes or 4,600 votes. So I appreciate you voting. And this is a little bit different than what we've seen before in the past few times. 49% said great, 9% said terrible. Previously, that was about 5% or so. So this one isn't as good for some people. 15% okay, but some bugs. I only use major feature betas, 5%. And that should say I didn't update to either. 23%. So 136 of you commented. I read every one of them, and I'll read a few of them. I don't want to go into too many, but there's, like I said, 136. I read quite a few, and most of you, like I said, had not battery issues, but Wi-Fi issues. Some people had battery issues. So if you look at all of these, terrible, pathetic. I'm not sure exactly what operating system or version, but I'd love to know. But a lot of you are saying great or okay, but some bugs. It's okay, but YouTube crashes. And YouTube was just updated, I think today or yesterday, so that should help, I hope. And then very good all around, waiting for your follow-up to upgrade. You might want to hang on until the next beta. Let's see here. It's great on my 6S, 6S, iPhone 10 is great, 7 Plus and it's great, 7 battery life gets better, runs great, 10R has been good for me. So you'll see a lot of you are saying great, smoother with less battery drain on the SE. So it's covering just about every phone here. 10s Max and iPhone 8, good to go. 6S Plus is good. Battery life is great. And then you'll see there's so many greats here. But then we can get to some here that say battery's not great. But battery life on my iPad 6th Gen is great. And then I did an update. It's been really good on my 10s Max. Only had one issue, and that was when I unlocked it, it lagged for a few seconds, which that's not a huge issue either. But like I said, quite a few of you said, and you can look through any of these comments at any time if you'd like, but a lot of you said that Wi-Fi wasn't great. I thought my phone was broken, so it says I use my iPhone XS Max, and every time I press the screen record button in the control center, it turns my phone off, and I have to put it through a power cycle. I thought my phone was broken. Let's try that. Looks to be okay, and it's working okay. So no bugs there, at least for me, thankfully. But it's definitely a bug. Make sure you report these bugs in the feedback app, though. Let's see. I only updated the 12.1.2 official build, but betas are a risk. So you'll see a lot of people were having it. My phone is in a boot loop, so you may want to use iTunes to fix that. Haven't been having any problems on my iPhone 7. iPhone 6 is great. So a lot of people saying it's great. Pretty good on my 10R. Have a bug where sometimes Wi-Fi connects but still shows 4G. Have to go into Wi-Fi, turn it off, and then on again. Honestly, I've been getting a lot of pocket drain on my iPhone 7 using 12.1.2, so I updated 12.1.3. I would guess there's an app running in the background causing that. It's got to be, maybe Facebook, something like that. A lot of people saying it's running great. Been having problems with my Bose Bluetooth speaker. iPhone volume randomly goes up and down. That was a previous issue on the previous beta, so maybe it's something they still need to fix. 10s Max in UK on EE. I'm still getting poor indoor 4G data or none at all, even where my older phone was okay. I'm starting to get convinced that these are hardware. I'm convinced it's hardware as well. I think it is with these. Don't know what's wrong with Apple since iOS 11, their initial updates, they have a lot of bugs. The problem with software updates is when you change one thing, it always breaks something else. So whatever they're changing, maybe they're getting ready for a whole redesign with iOS 13. It's hard to say, but there's definitely something going on. And you'll see it was great for quite a few comments, terrible. Let's see. Drains my battery. Give one more option. I use Android. Sometimes I give that option. No issues. Great for me on a 6 Plus. This was rushed out and would not benefit me in New Zealand. I usually are possible one of the first. I think that means one of the first to upgrade. Except for YouTube and Instagram, no other app is working. That's unfortunate too. So people are unable to change their wallpaper. Let's look at two more. Here's Wi-Fi again, but no issues on my iPhone 6S. Amazing battery. Life and smooth but fast. Maybe light and smooth, I'm not sure. And major Wi-Fi problems again. So again, those are the major issues, and hopefully it'll get better. I'm sure it will. This is a beta build, and as long as they don't have to rush out another version for some patent dispute, we'll probably won't see anything until the new year. But let me know your experience in the comments below if you didn't comment in that community poll. And if you have any other questions or comments, I always love to hear from you, and I read every one of them that I can anyway. If you'd like to get your hands on the wallpaper, of course, it's going to be linked in the description. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.